Okay, here's a new question, and Carolyn gets to answer this one first. And what do you see as the greatest fiscal challenge in the next 4 years in Menlo Park?
I see the fiscal challenge as the loss of RDA funds that has really put a dent in the funds available for economic development and to revive the M2 areas that we're talking about. We need to work on a plan that will bring additional income at a rate that a fast rate, so that we could work on the building of the businesses, the new businesses that we want to encourage here. I don't see that as an easy job. Thank you.
Ray.
Could you repeat the question?
Question is, what do you see as the greatest fiscal challenge in the next 4 years in Menlo Park?
Okay, well, the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to correct something that Ms. Ferguson just said, because I don't think it's completely accurate. She indicated that the revenue in the M2 has been growing, and I guess it depends upon what time period you're looking at, because in 2007, our east of Middlefield, our business-to-business sales tax revenue in Menlo Park was $3,800,000. By 2010, it had dropped to $2,500,000, 30%. So I don't know why we're saying it's growing unless perhaps we saw an increment that you're counting from Facebook this last year. But I don't really count that because that's an increment that's not going to grow over time. The biggest fiscal problem that we're going to face in Menlo Park over the next 5 years is going to be 4 years is how are we going to grow our revenue, and then how are we going to continue to control costs within the city. Every year right now in Menlo Park, we're challenged to balance our budget because we're not focusing enough time on how to grow our revenue. What we are doing is flat, frankly, when it comes to development, and we have to continue to look at how we're controlling our costs, because we have to look at what our unfunded pension liabilities are going forward, as it will go ahead and affect what the council can do with budgets in the future.
Okay. Dave?
Thank you. So, let me turn this on. Thank you. I see our biggest fiscal challenges are the same with any city and with any government that has employees. It's always going to be labor. Labor is the biggest number on your budget, and capital improvement projects. And those are something that obviously we need to work together with our citizens, with our employees, and our management to make sure that we're balancing that budget correctly on how we recruit and attract the best people, as well as take care of them without going broke. So as far as the fiscal challenges, that's a very dynamic issue, and that probably changes monthly on what we need to face.
Okay. Kelly.
Without a doubt, the biggest fiscal challenge we're facing is closing the gap in funding that's created by the loss of the redevelopment authority. We depended on RDA for a number of things. Police enforcement, gang task force, narcotics task force, we've got to keep those going because these crimes are real threats to our quality of life here and the safety in all of our neighborhoods. The RDA stopped the police substation that we were building. We've got to find a way to fund that, and I know we have enough reserves in our capital in our reserves to pay for that and still maintain a very healthy level of reserves. But the Belhaven community deserves a new police station. And then overall, you know, the state took $1.9 million last year. We've got to close that budget gap. The transit occupancy tax can be a part of it, but we'll have to plan for that at budget mid-year.
Great, thank you. Okay, Catherine.
The city, just like individuals, we have to learn to live within our means. And I've spoken about creating revenues and dealing with the permitting processes and the different ways that we can create revenue in terms of increasing business revenues and tax revenues and helping with the property revenues. But one of the biggest issues that I see us having to deal with that our city reserves will not cover is the unfunded CalPERS liability. We cannot expect the economy to recover in a big way. Right now, CalPERS promised us, therefore we promised in the negotiations that past city councils have agreed to provide these pensions. They promised 7.5%, and they're performing at 2%. And the city has to make that difference. We have to cover that. And that's going to be a real issue in how we deal with that in the future, not only in making sure that well, I'm out of time, making sure that we stay fiscally sound and deal with the pension issues as they come up.
Thank you.